what are we looking for XRP? We have some good news and we have some bad news, and then we have the charts. So that's what really what we do. We take the good news, we take the bad news, and then we look at the chart. I'm really 80 to 90% chart, but we do have some good things coming in the pipeline for XRP. So let's go over to X really quick. So we do have XRP ETF filings with the SEC that are coming towards the tail end of October. So we have Bitwise, Canary Capital, 21 Shares, Wisdom Tree, Coin Shares, Franklin Templeton, and a few others. So these are the companies that have filed ETFs for XRP. So we have been looking at these over the past few weeks and over the past few months, depending on when they filed. They did get pushed back. Like I said, they got pushed back to October. So October's cluster of XRP ETF decisions. So this is going towards the mid to tail end of October. And this is aligning or almost aligning with my thesis going into the tail end of Q4 being bullish for altcoins. And I think XRP is going to get a very, very, very good brute of that bullishness. But back to the ETFs, and then we'll talk about how it will play in effect with the charts in a second. October 18th, we have Grayscale's XRP ETF ruling. October 19th, we have 21 Shares. The 20th, we have Bitwise. The 23rd, we have Coin Shares and Canary Capital. And then the 24th, we have Wisdom Tree's XRP ETF ruling. So it says this packed schedule means XRP could dominate headlines for weeks. And this is what we need. The crypto market is still sentiment driven. It's still narrative driven, even though, we look at a lot of things. We look at we want utility and things like that. Even utility has been coming to the forefront. A lot of utility has been coming to the forefront. But like I said, this is crypto, and we are still a narrative, speculative asset class. And with this coming into effect, with these things coming into effect, which I do think they will, if one gets approved, I think they'll all get approved coming towards the tail end of October. It says this packed schedule means XRP could dominate headlines for weeks, with each ruling acting as a potential market catalyst. So between or even running up to or rolling up to the 18th of October, going into the 24th of October, I do expect some sort of a bullish movement in XRP. And we're going to look at the charts in a second, but this just also corresponds with what I think is going to happen in the overall market. So let's go back to Bitcoin, and then this will have an effect on what XRP is going to do around that time. Hopefully, they both coincide around the same time. So Bitcoin is sitting at 108.8 K at the time of recording, coming down all the way from 124K top. So what we want to see, we really just want to hold. Where's my chart that I have the bullish line in the sand? Here we go. So we want to just hold this. This is if we lose this area here, this 88 to 90K, I think we're going to a bear market. As long as we hold this, I think we're going to be fine. And as long as we hold above this 100K, I think we'll be even better. So going into the tail end of, the beginning of this month is September 1st, going into mid-September, I think we'll get Bitcoin dominance starting to show a little bit more strength. Today, we are almost up 1%. So I'm looking for us to potentially start getting back to that 60%, possibly going up to about 63 to 65%. This is what I want to see for the crypto market going into early September, possibly late September, going into October. Going into October, I think Bitcoin will start to get very bullish again, possibly the tail end of September. This is just my thesis. I'm looking at history, and this is what history has shown. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. Going towards the tail end of September, early October, I think Bitcoin will take the shine again. So Bitcoin dominance can go up while Bitcoin is going down. So if we have a red September, which we just had a red August, 6.7% down, if we get some sort of a red to flat September, I think going into October, Bitcoin dominance is going to start rising as Bitcoin has gone sideways, down, or up. So once Bitcoin starts to reclaim some levels, starts to reclaim some, get some juice, I think we'll go up possibly. I think we're going to go back above this 62%, this red bar here, possibly 62, 63, 64, maybe 65%, then roll over. And this is what we want to see. We want to see this rollover going into mid to late October. And what's happening mid to late October? This is when the October's cluster of XRP ETF decisions are taking effect. So back to Bitcoin dominance, and then we'll look at the XRP chart. If Bitcoin can or Bitcoin dominance starts to go up while Bitcoin goes sideways or goes down, and then going towards the tail end of September, Bitcoin starts to rally back up, getting back above key levels like 112, 116, 120. Once we can get back above 120 and just hopefully just run for a few weeks, hit new all-time highs, possibly 135, 140, hopefully 150. The higher Bitcoin goes, trust me, the higher XRP will go once the cup runneth over. I've been using that phrase a lot because that's exactly what happens after Bitcoin has its run. So I'm aiming for the mid to end October is when we start to get Bitcoin's ascension higher, Bitcoin going, who knows how high we can go. Hopefully we go, as high as we possibly can. Hopefully 150, 140, 150. I'm not too bullish, like 200, 250, not yet, depending on what the situation is in the economy. I think that's a little bit further out. Maybe another 12 to 18 months out, because I think our bear market will be shortened, but that's another video. But I want to see Bitcoin, get past this all-time high. Even if it goes a little bit past, it makes a newer high or a higher high going into like 130, 135, 140, 150, hopefully, then run over, I think, or roll over. Then I think XRP will have its time in the sun. And XRP right now is sitting at, like I said, $2.72. So let's just play out a scenario. Maybe we lose this. I think anything coming in between $2.50 to $2 is buying opportunity. Anywhere between, if we lose this area, this is a key area, key support resistance area that we have been testing over the past few months. So we really want to see how we interact with this. We've been making lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low. So we're in a downtrend from the top of the market at $3.70 about. Somewhere coming into that all-time high. We're in a downtrend. So let's just say we do lose this $2.70 area. What I'll be looking at possibly coming into this trend line and getting some resistance, getting some support, possibly anywhere between $2 and $2. Well, we'll say 230. I'll be looking at 230 just from pulling this trend line from these two lows here. We had a low here and a low here. So I'll be looking at somewhere here. And if we just come down and take this low out, I don't think we'll come down this far, but possibly right here between $1.90 and $2. I think if you are looking to accumulate, anything under 270 to 190 will be a time to accumulate. We can't time tops, we can't time bottoms, but we can definitely get some cheaper crypto and some cheaper XRP specifically, because I do think XRP will have a nice pop. So just depending on how far we go down will determine how far we bounce when we do get the bounce. So with Bitcoin, hopefully topping out mid to late October going into November, can't really predict it, can't really time it, but that would, like I said, be good timing or correspond with when these ETF rulings get hopefully approved. So if they do start getting approved, I think XRP will be one of the first altcoins to run after Bitcoin has its run. So we'll just have to start reclaiming areas. If we lose this, we'll have to reclaim 270, reclaiming at $3. Once we get back above $3, I think the sky is the limit. So if you're trading this, it's reclaim, retest, react, reclaim, retest, react, reclaim, retest, react, reclaim, retest, react. And then, I'm thinking we can possibly get up to, we're 270 right now. I'm probably looking at least a 2 to 3x. So 270 to like $5, anywhere between $5 to $8, depending on how frothy the market gets. And with this, like I said, with the ETFs coming in and people probably getting bullish and the market getting very, very bullish, plus we getting these ETFs approved, I think XRP can have a nice, massive couple week run, 2, 3, 4 week run, like it did right here. How long was this? So we went from basically $2 on June 26th all the way to our all-time high to July 20th. So not even a month, maybe like 3 weeks. So if we had another 3-week run, there we go. I'm thinking, we can do something bananas, so once we start reclaiming, I'm looking at, let's pull a fib from the top. Let's say we do pull a fib. Let's say we go to $2. Let's just say we go to $2. So we'll have $3 getting back to 3. So we'll be looking at somewhere 369. So $4.78. This would be my target. Honestly, if we get down here, if we come down to about $1.90, $2, somewhere around that area, I'll be looking at $4.78, possibly with some sort of a massive blow off top going up to about $5.50, somewhere in there, $5 to $5.50. I'm not super bullish yet. I'm letting the market play out, letting the market tell me what it wants to do. Depending on how high Bitcoin goes, will determine how high some of these altcoins go once we do get a run. And I'm not subscribed to a super cycle. I would welcome it. I would definitely welcome it. I would love to never go into another bear market. I would love it. But history has shown us that people have said this time and time again. Every 4 years, it's the same thing, super cycle. We have entities here. We have this. We have that. Barring some crazy catastrophic event, I do think the floor is raised for a lot of these top coins. There's, of course, Bitcoin. I think we won't go down as far. Ethereum, XRP, possibly we won't go down as far as we would if these big players, big entities were not here. But I do think we will still get some sort of a bear market. So I'm still bullish on XRP. XRP is a long-term hold for me. So when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about a trade for me. This would be a trade for me. I will be low leverage trade, possibly 3 to 5x leverage trade as we go down. And then once we start to reclaim some of these levels, and if we start to get some of these approved, I would be more inclined to get a little bit more giddy, when it comes to my position. Probably add a little bit more if we do get those approved, and if the timeline plays out to where the altcoin starts to run, and then we get the ETFs approved around the same time. Even if the ETFs get approved first, and then we start getting the altcoin run, or if they happen around the same time, that would be amazing. So we can't time, we can't predict. We just give the market or take what the market gives, and we have a plan of action for certain scenarios. And I'm thinking or hoping, well, hope is not good in these markets. You can't hope. You can only do your analysis and try your best to benefit from what the market gives you. So I'm looking at the ETFs getting approved mid to late October. I'm looking at how the 4-year cycle plays out with altcoins starting to get a bid around mid to late October. So those two are playing out together, hopefully. And I think XRP will be okay. I don't think XRP is going to those crazy astronomical numbers this cycle, but I do think XRP is not going anywhere. I do think XRP is a marvelous long-term hold. And I think anything under, $2-3 for XRP in the long run is a gift. Because I do think XRP will probably at some point, be $10, $15 in the future. So I'm holding XRP long term. I'm going to start using Bitcoin XRP. I might add Ethereum, or I might hold my Ethereum a little bit long term, because I'm looking to do it like real estate. But this is another video. We'll talk about how I'm going to start using or borrowing against my assets as the market appreciates, as the space appreciates, as our assets become more implemented into our everyday financial lives. So that's why I want to hold XRP long term. That's why I want to hold Bitcoin long term. I'm just giving you a glimpse of what I'm looking at for the overall market for XRP. So what do you think, or where do you think XRP is going to fall to if we fall? And where do you think XRP is going to top out at if we top out, or if we do have some sort of a market cycle top or market cycle peak? I'm definitely interested in hearing you guys' point of view when it comes to XRP. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. I appreciate everybody who's been watching, all the new subscribers. Appreciate you. Have a happy Labor Day, and we'll be back a little bit later to talk about the rest of the market. Peace.